Brought my husband's estranged mother into our lives, only to have him kick her out and ask me to leave as well. I preface this by saying I think I screwed up massively. Hubby and I have been married for 6 years now. He's always been the fun guy, always laughing and making me laugh, always seeing the bright side of things. However, one thing that bothered me was that I never knew much of his family. His father died when he was little and he has little relationship with his mom. I'll keep this short. 4 months ago I looked up his mom on social media and found her. I sent a message, and she replied. We chatted and met up. She doesn't live far from us. She knew all about me and her son because she kept an eye on him on social. We became friends and I filled her in with details about our lives. I asked her why hubby went no contact with her. She refused to tell me why if hubby didn't tell me, just said it was all her fault and she's ashamed of it. I proposed to try what I could to help them reconcile and she agreed even if she was reluctant at first. In the following weeks I tried talking to hubby about his mother and what happened between them. He always changed topic or shut me down. When Mill asked me how it was going, I told her things were progressing and I was working on it. Last week I decided to try and have them meet up so maybe we could spend Easter together. I invited Mill over before my husband would be back from work so we could surprise. She was a bit unsure about this. She said she wasn't comfortable surprising him like that, but I reassured her. I thought that any emotion hubby could have would be better cooled by a hug. Spoiler alert, Mill was right. Hubby came home, and after the initial shock started yelling like I never heard him to her to get out immediately. She just grabbed her coat and stormed out. Afterwards, hubby told me to get out too when I explained what I had done. He didn't yell at me, but his voice was cold and almost emotional. I've been staying at my sister's since. Hubby won't take my calls. Mill cried on the phone and asked why I lied like that and never talked to my hubby and prepared him for that. Now she stopped taking my calls as well. I know I have screwed up big time, and I see now what a massive dork I've been. How can I fix this? I want to apologize to hubby for what I did and maybe find out why his mom is dead to him. You don't have to know what happened. It is not your place to judge whether it was bad enough. It does not matter if you ever understand. All you ever had to do was trust him, and you demonstrated you have no interest in being that sort of spouse, and so it serves you right if you lost him. Update 1: The last weeks have been rough, but we might be okay. Hubby opened up about the reason he cut off his mother and many of you were right, it was sexual abuse. Not from his mother, but his stepfather. They were engaged and his mom was pregnant with his child when the guy started giving my husband attentions. Husband went to his mom but she shut him down accusing him of being jealous and wanting to spoil her happiness. This went on until his mother came home from work unexpectedly and walked in on the guy giving attention to my husband. She kicked him out, pressed charges and annulled their engagement, but the damage was done and my husband no longer trusted her. She also lost the baby due to stress and although she never blamed my husband for it, he felt it was his fault. All this felt like a gut punch for me, first for what he went through, and then because now I am the person who shattered his trust. He said he did consider divorce over this, but pretty bluntly said that he thinks my actions were out of stupidity rather than malice, and he wants to work things out. I am committed to do my best to become a better and safe partner for him. I know I have this stupid and selfish tendency to think that I often know better than him, but I have to get over it because it hurt him massively and almost imploded our relationship. I don't want to be another person he trusted and ended up hurting him. He also decided to reach out to his mom and start talking to her again. He's not sure they can repair the relationship, but he wants for both of them to find some closure. This is going to take years for you to regain his full trust and love again. I hope you've put yourself in therapy to work out why you put yourself first here and not his wishes. Your level of boundary stomping and dismissing your husband's feelings along with your admission that you often think that I often know better than him shows you have issues that you need to address in individual therapy. You need to understand that you don't deserve his consideration no matter the reason for his estrangement with his mother. Whether you think it's justified or not. You seem to have some narcissistic tendencies, and you need to get that addressed. A mentally healthy person would never do this. Update 2: My husband is doing better and our relationship is slowly getting back to what it was. I know it will take a lot of time to repair the damage I caused, but I'm willing to give him all the time he wants and do anything he asks out of me. The bitter irony of this whole story is that he told me he had been thinking about reaching out to his mother, but on his terms and time. By going behind his back I almost destroyed the chance of reconciliation and imploded our marriage. I am working on myself and will start seeing a therapist next month so I never do something like that ever again and more importantly, never betray his trust ever again. Also, with my husband's knowledge and consent, I apologize to Mill for leading her on with false promises and she has forgiven me. As for him and Mill, they started talking to each other, have met a couple of times in public and yesterday my husband invited her over for dinner so that in his words we all can try to start over properly. She's a very sweet woman and she's eager to reconcile with him and get to know me. My husband said that for now he wants for all of us to get a bit used to each other, then he and Mill will get to work on their traumas, his words. He says she's not the villain in what happened, but he needs to come to terms with her poor decisions and his own feelings of guilt for her losing her baby. Mill on the other hand is very apologetic and extremely sorry about what happened, in my husband's opinion, sincerely so, and doesn't blame him at all for the miscarriage. As for me, I just sit aside and do my best to rebuild the trust with my husband and become a better and safe partner. He started being affectionate with me again and we are no longer on thin ice, but I can't stop thinking I almost lost him because I thought I knew better than him. You know you screwed up when both your husband and the estranged parent are upset at you for what you have done. It seems you all are on the road of reconciling, but never forget that your short-sighted actions could have nuked any possibility of them reconciling and your own marriage.